Hello to all my brothers and sisters in the world, whatever religion you may be, whatever your views, whether it be Christian, Muslim, atheist, I don't care. We are on a journey, and some of us take the spiritual side of the journey more serious than others. And I spent a lifetime looking for the right direction for that spiritual journey. And it was only last year when I was guided to Christianity, or rather, I should say, back to Christianity, because I'd been brought up as a Catholic. Now, I realised that some of the messaging at that time wasn't for me. So I looked, and my parents were great influences on me because they too were searching, and they flirted with many religions. So as a result of that, I got a smattering, a little taste of an awful lot. I didn't go down any particular religious paths or explore them very deeply, but I did get an idea that as a human race, most of us believe there is something bigger. Most of us believe there is something else. And even atheists, and I'm going to use Ricky Gervais' name here, hopefully not in vain, because I'm a great fan of Ricky's. He's always talking about how he's an atheist and how he doesn't believe in God. And I'm always fascinated by why atheists seem to want to convert others to their views. If you don't believe in God, that's absolutely fine, and I totally respect that. I respect your view. But every time I have conversations with atheists, we get to a stage where they acknowledge that actually, whilst they might not believe in God, they don't know. So most confirmed atheists are actually agnostics. And that is the beauty of the world we live in. And it is a beautiful world, and there's so much that is unexplained. So people use science to argue that God doesn't exist because God hasn't been proved by scientists. And I say, well, it hasn't been proved by science yet. There may come a time where they do acknowledge God actually does exist. Problem is, nobody knows what God is. What I do know is where people embrace spirituality and actually understand the teachings of Jesus, and this is why I came back to Christianity, is because I believe in the messages that Jesus taught. And if you break them down, you talk about the parables, it's about making the best of who we are, what we have, making the best of our talents. And I have said this before, that I have no appreciable talents that I can think of, apart from being a bit stronger than most of the people around me as I was growing up. And I like to think I used that strength when I was in the army and I was in the police, helping people. But apart from that, ADHD isn't really a talent or a superpower. It does help me think differently, but I have to accept this is who I am. And the more I think about who I am, the more I think about how I fit in with other people, and the more I think about my differences, the more I think about other people's differences and the paths that they are taking in life. So one of the things also that I've considered is what I see as the demonic messaging around Christianity at the moment, and that's coming from mainly from the good old party in America who push Christian nationalism. And all I can see is that that is bullying. It's fake machismo. It's strutting around talking about traditional values, but their traditional values are just denigrating women, and They want to put women back into a trad wife role. They want to have a position where men are all powerful, and it's got nothing to do with Christianity. This bullying other countries and saying, oh yeah, we're going to take over, we're going to bomb the hell out of you, that's got nothing to do with Christianity. Christian nationalism is a dangerous, dangerous thing. We want to put the Bible back into classrooms. That's not a bad thing, so long as there's balance, so long as you give people choice. Now, America is a secular society. Whether they want it that way or not, it is and will remain a secular society. So if you force somebody to go through rituals, and if you tell them you are now a Christian, you will be a Christian, they're not ultimately going to be a Christian. They may wear a cross. They may wear clothing which says, yeah, I'm a Christian. They may have Bibles in the house, but they won't read them and they won't really understand them, because it'll be like a comfort blanket. Yeah, I'm a Christian. Why are you Christian? Well, I kind of identify with that because all the people around me identify with that. It has no particular meaning for me, being a Christian. It's just an identity I wear, like a comfort blanket. That's what Christian nationalism does. It's about fervour. It's about trying to talk about patriotism. And it's got nothing to do with Jesus. Jesus didn't go talking about bombing people into submission. He didn't talk about death and destruction. He talked about love and peace. And a true Christian knows that. True Christians don't try to control other people. True Christians know that love and peace is the right way forward. Spiritually, for us, once we embrace that, it's the right way forward. And as I become a Christian, I'm now able to put hate behind me. I don't hate anybody. If there's somebody I dislike or a specific position I don't understand in the media, I educate myself. Okay, I don't like that person. Let's see what they're about. Let's find out a little bit more about their views. Okay, I totally disagree with them, but I understand what makes that person tick. I understand the why. And I think for us to be Christians going forward, we all need to embrace that. We all need to see Christianity as a personal journey. It's not an identity to be worn. We are, by our very nature, spiritual creatures. That's why religion is so widespread across the globe, because people believe there is something more. They don't know what God is, they just know deep down at a very basic level that something greater exists. And most of us believe in a creator. I look at the world is so beautiful, and we are so hardwired to see that beauty. That leans towards us appreciating the beauty, the creation, and worshipping the Creator. That's just the way we're built. And when I look at the war at the moment and the messaging around that, I am deeply sad that people aren't brave enough to have the courage of their convictions to say, no, this is wrong. And things change when people stand together. And when one person thinks there's nothing I can do about it, yes, there is. Talk to other people. Get them on side. Tell them this is wrong. What's happening in the world right now is wrong. And the more people do it, the better the world will be, because we will not in future allow such small-minded, cowardly people the power over us to bring such chaos and destruction. That's it. I try to love everybody. God bless you all, and have a wonderful week.